Welcome to Discover DeSoto, a podcast brought to you by the Patterson Foundation. In this podcast, you'll hear stories from all corners of DeSoto County through the lens of DeSoto County Ahead, from residents to community leaders and everyone in between. Join us as we discover DeSoto, one story at a time. Hi, and welcome to Discover DeSoto, a Beyond the Blog podcast brought to you by the Patterson Foundation. I'm Alicia Exantus, consultant with the Patterson Foundation and your host today. Joining me is Crystal Walter, DeSoto County's Regional Program Director for Big Brothers Big Sisters, and today we'll be diving into her aspirations for DeSoto County and the many ways she's working towards making them a reality through her work and her involvement with TPF initiatives, including DeSoto County Ahead. Crystal, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here today. Thank you for inviting me.
We're so happy to have you here. I saw the list of all the things you're doing in DeSoto County, and it is an honor that you made time to come in and speak with us, so thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
We're going to go ahead and get started. I know you were a community champion in our DeSoto Digest newsletter a couple months earlier, and you mentioned in there that you have called DeSoto home for roughly 2 years. I'd love to know, how do you feel living in DeSoto? What brought you here? And where did you live previously?
So I'm from Ohio.
Okay.
And when I moved to the DeSoto area, I worked in Northport. And I live in Lake Susie. So technically, Charlotte County is where all of my shopping was being done. So I never went into Arcadia. And when I got the position with Big Brothers and Big Sisters and started to explore Arcadia and meet Arcadians is when I really fell in love with the area. Some of the first people I met were Dr. Ellen Reeser.
Okay.
And he is a retired philanthropist, but one of the busiest retired people I have ever met. He would probably be an amazing guest to have
Wonderful
on your podcast. Aurelia Ramirez is a local realtor. When I was beginning my journey with Big Brothers and Big Sisters in DeSoto County, my first task was to find an office. And it was January of 23, which was just a few months after Hurricane Ian, which was pretty devastating to Arcadia. And Miss Aurelia was kind enough to clean out a space in her complex and allow me to rent an office for a little while. And it was perfect. I had amazing neighbors in her and her assistant, Crystal Trejo, who is actually with Big Brothers and Big Sisters. Falling in love with DeSoto and the small town atmosphere really reminded me of home.
Oh, that's so great and so special. I'd love to dig in more about Big Brothers Big Sisters. I'd love to hear, tell me a little bit about the organization, the mission, what you guys are doing. And I heard you say big. Mm-hmm. Previously, I've heard you say little. Tell me more. Fill me in.
So Big Brothers and Big Sisters has been around since about 1904.
Okay.
And our purpose is to create and maintain one-on-one mentoring relationships. We hope to build a bond between a little, who is a child who needs a little bit of extra support, and a positive role model that can be an adult who comes into their life maybe once a week, takes them out to get ice cream, or maybe just runs errands with them, takes them to the library, somebody that they can talk to about their daily experience, has that one-on-one time to give. It can also be a high school student.
Oh, I did not realize a high school student could do that.
Yes, a high school student. And this is really a win-win for both individuals. In DeSoto County in particular, I'm really excited because we're starting a program with the middle school. I had gone to a college and career fair at the high school and had all of these wonderful high school students sign up to be bakes. And maybe 2 days later, I stopped into the middle school to talk to the guidance counselor about another issue. And she mentioned that the sixth grade class was really struggling with the transition between coming from elementary into middle school. And so we came up with a plan to meet with the high school bigs and the sixth grade students on a weekly basis. And they would be able to mentor them through this transition. Who better to do that than somebody who just went through it not all that long ago. And during the time that they spend together, I will provide some sort of activity that they can do, and just have that time to kind of talk about what they're going through and build that bond, and let the high schoolers be the best that they can be, show their leadership skills, also have that ability to put the volunteer hours in that they need for scholarships like Bright Futures, and put that on their college application, which looks amazing.
Yes.
So it's a program that I'm really excited about. We're hoping to get that going in October.
Okay, we'll have to follow up to hear more about that. I hear you talk, and it makes me think, and I know we'll talk in a little bit here about community conversations that you've been a part of, but in those conversations, oftentimes we watch the residents leave with hope. And it's crazy what hope can do to someone. It ignites the fire inside of them. You see the joy come out. And I wonder if that's what you see with the positive role models, going and speaking with these young students who might have social, emotional goals they're working towards, or academic goals. And that little spark of hope, it can do so much for someone, even when you're little, when you're big, when you're old. It really doesn't matter. So that is so special, and it's a direct reflection of what I see speaking with the residents in DeSoto County, and then having the littles receive that positive impact. That's so special. Now tell me, what is unique about Big Brothers Big Sisters in DeSoto?
So in DeSoto County, we, and I don't know if this is unique, but we do have quite a few single parent households, and many children are being raised by their grandparents. I've seen this in other counties as well, so I don't know that this is specific to DeSoto, but the Senior Friendship Center, Miss Diana Harms, is also doing a grandparents program, which helps to support the grandparents that are raising grandchildren, and they do an amazing job with that. But essentially, these single moms are raising their littles without a positive male role model in their lives. And I think that it's really a loss to a child to not have that example of how to be a good man.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a pretty long list of littles right now, particularly boys, who are waiting for male bigs. And what they need is just to see a different way to grow up.
Okay, so tell me this. The Patterson Foundation does work across the 4-county region. So if you wanted to become a big for one of the littles that are on your list, do you have to live in DeSoto County?
Oh, no. DeSoto County and Hardy County and Highlands County all have a wait list. Now, if you live in DeSoto County, you would be a big to a little in DeSoto County. We like to make sure that the big isn't having to travel too far.
Okay. And if they did want to sign up, how could they do that? Where do they go to get started with that?
So as most of us are trying to do now, we're trying to go paperless. So I have QR codes on all of my pamphlets. And so you take out your little smartphone and use your QR code and go through the process online. And then you come and meet with me. And we have a fairly painless conversation that usually takes about an hour. And do background checks. Of course, the safety of our littles is really important.
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually takes about 2 weeks or up to a month to go through the process to become a big. And we ask for about a year commitment of just, building that bond and spending time 4 hours a month is kind of the goal.
Okay.
It's pretty small, I think, time-wise, but can make a really big impact on a child's life.
Thank you so much for sharing. And that's a big role. That's a lot. You named 3 different areas that you are over, but I'm convinced you don't sleep because I've seen your resume and everything you're doing in your community, and I am beyond impressed. So let's go ahead. I want to jump into that. I know you're involved with the DeSoto County Ahead initiative in many different ways. Since January 2024, the Patterson Foundation has been working with the Harwood Institute for Public Innovation to deepen and accelerate community-led change, build on the DeSoto County Ahead work already underway, and catalyze change. For those listening who may not know, the Harwood Institute is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization dedicated to working with individuals and organizations to address critical challenges and transform the dynamics of community collaboration. Part of the work that's been done with this partnership to accelerate change in the community has been first listening to the community to hear their aspirations and understand the key issues that matter to people the most. Crystal, as someone who has been a part of those conversations, what did you listen to? What did you hear? What stuck out to you when you were either at first in the conversation being asked your aspirations and then holding the conversation and listening to others' aspirations?
So a lot of the earlier community conversations seem to focus around being in a safe environment.
Okay.
People really talked about, and I think they were maybe still kind of reeling from the effects of the hurricanes and, the pain, the trauma from going through something like that.
Absolutely.
People who haven't been through a natural disaster, I don't think can really understand how that kind of sticks with you. And, once hurricane season comes again, you're nail biting the whole time. But we've really seen the community step up with a lot of hurricane disaster preparedness and just having the conversations about what to do and how to be prepared for that. The conversations, particularly for me, because I am part of the youth initiative, have been focused on what the youth would like to see change within our community. And I think we've had some really great strides there with the YMCA has come. They're working on the building, and Alicia Campbell is already in the school. She's got her Rise Up program started. So we're seeing some change happen. We're still doing this coming Tuesday. We have another community conversation with the Interact Club. I am part of the Arcadia Rotary Club, and so which is an amazing organization, which if you're interested in being part of, I would love to tell you more about. They meet every Tuesday, and so we are talking with the Interact kiddos on this coming Tuesday about some of the things that they would like to see change. And what I've heard time and time again is they would like to have some consistent place where the youth can meet and in a group setting where they have something fun to do that isn't roller skating or something that old people think is fun. So,
okay, this is hilarious. I wish you guys could hear what was going in my head as you were talking. I lit up when you said you're talking to the youth. I'm in the housing team, and we're talking to individuals, adults, about housing. That's how we have our unique spin on our community conversations. So you're not talking to older people about youth. You're going in and talking and listening, most importantly, to the youth. What I'm hearing from adults is they don't have a movie theater. They don't have a roller skating rink. They don't have those things. So that's very interesting that when you're actually talking to the youth and listening to them and their aspirations, they're saying, We don't want what you guys thought or what you guys think is cool. Listen to us and what we really aspire to have in our community. Yeah. Ooh, I can't wait to see the report and what you guys come back with. That's going to be really valuable information.
I love that about the Harwood Institute, that instead of starting from a place of a small group of people in charge deciding what we need and what we should change, I love that we're starting at the ground level and finding out what will actually make an impact and that people will find valuable within the community.
Here at the Patterson Foundation, we say we don't arrive with the answers. And that's a direct alignment with the Harwood Institute and the work that they do. That's going to roll me into my next stop here. So we had those initial conversations. We took in all of the aspirations that we heard and what was learned, and a public capital report was created. And a big thing in that public capital report that was mentioned was the community connection and being able to talk with each other, communication and community connection. So the Patterson Foundation went ahead and had our very first DeSoto County Ahead event. So what we did is we took those aspirations and we created an event. And what was really unique about that event was we had exhibitors available with all of the different materials and things they have to offer to their community. And we had community members could come in, they went through all the booths, they received stickers on a passport, which then qualified them to win a gift card. And it was a whole exhibitor booth time just for community members. While we were putting that together, we thought, wait a minute, one of the biggest aspirations was we're not tight-knit in regards to nonprofits. We don't all know each other or all work with each other or all collaborate with each other, even though we all are a small town. So we go ahead and offer to exhibitors, why don't you walk around and meet each other? And I feel like it was this big boom. Like everyone was so excited. They could not believe how many people they could collaborate with in the future and work with. And quite frankly, Crystal, that's where I met you. You were at the booth for Big Brothers, Big Sisters. I remember you were near Rotary, but you were not right next to them. But I can see where your booth was, and it was so good to meet you there. Tell me, what was unique about that big event, and how did it feel as an exhibitor?
Oh, I think that really kind of kicked off a lot of collaborations between nonprofits that, to my knowledge, weren't happening before. I know it made this amazing friendship between me and Miss Diana that has, now we're joined at the hip. So I really feel like there's been more communication and more collaboration than ever now that the Patterson Foundation has come in and started the Navigator workshop groups and just provided us the ability to meet on a regular basis, and maybe not just the ability, but the little push, the little nudges.
Let's dive into that small win. So that small win, you meet Diana there with Senior Friendship Centers, and what happens from that?
We talk on a weekly, I feel like daily basis, but one of the things that we do together is a computer class.
Okay.
And that has been really amazing. It's every other week, and we are able to bring, last year, we brought in a couple of my high school bags. And so the senior citizens were able to be taught what emojis mean. And that was a really fun class because it did get a little risque in parts, but they were always excited to see the high schoolers come in to help. But the senior citizens that are in our computer class have a lot of fear of computers, of technology in general. And our world requires so much more technology to be utilized for basic things like banking and paying your bills. And it leaves them behind if they don't understand how to do that. So that collaboration has been I think very valuable.
Oh yeah, what a beautiful small win where ripple effects clearly took place in the community. You went from meeting her to connecting your bigs in the high school with her senior citizens, and I guarantee you they left there with knowledge in the world of digital, I was going to say digital access, not necessarily digital access, more like digital awareness and all the learnings they could take on from meeting with the youth. That is powerful. And I know it's only one of many small wins and ripple effects, but thank you so much for sharing that. That is great to hear. All right. Now, Crystal, one thing I want to make sure we do before we wrap up today, I want to ask you, since this is Discover DeSoto, what's one thing you'd highlight about DeSoto County? Whether it's a hidden gem, a favorite place to shop, a local dining spot, or a unique outdoor activity, what's something everyone should be sure to discover when they visit or if they live in DeSoto?
It's so hard because there are a lot of places I love about DeSoto. The Florida farmhouse. I mean, I live on caffeine and there's coffee. Their True Grit coffee is my favorite, but there are many choices that are amazing. Yellow Deli is certainly one of my favorites. I love to walk in Morgan's Park. I feel like I see a deer there every single time, and I don't know how that can be, but it's true. And I think I'm gonna have to go with the McSwain Center though, because they have every Friday they have a farmers market that is community led, and it's a beautiful thing. And if you have a nonprofit organization and you want to put a table up there, you can do so for free and you can get your information out without having to pay for that, and you can sell your homemade goods there, and it's a very, very reasonable cost to do so. People just meet and there's the park right there. Sometimes people, buy their lunch and sit on the porch and chit chat, and it's just, it's a really nice spot.
Sounds like the heart of the community. It's a place where, it is community. You look around and you see others. That's so special to have. Crystal, you are an amazing woman, amazing mom, amazing community leader. It is an absolute honor to have you here today speaking with us. If someone wants to reach out and connect to you, how could they do that?
They can come to the McSwain Center because that's where my office is now. But also they can email me at cwalter@bbbssun.org. And or they can call. My cell is 941-815-9734. And I am always thrilled to hear from anybody who would like to sign their child up to be a little, or anybody, particularly men, who want to be bigs. That would be amazing. Thank you.
Wonderful. Listeners, to learn more about how the Patterson Foundation is strengthening efforts to collectively create a stronger, more resilient community, visit DeSotoCountyAhead.net or thepattersonfoundation.org. And to subscribe to our monthly DeSoto Digest newsletter, where we share these monthly podcasts and news from DeSoto County residents, scan the QR code you'll see here on your screen. All right, that's all we have for today. Tune in next time for more Discover DeSoto. Bye-bye.
Together, we can create a DeSoto where opportunity, pride, and connection thrive.